I'm going to share with you my experience with ECK, Electoral Commission of Kenya, that was there before the IEBC. In today's edition, I'm going to share with you my experience at LUMANI polling station. At LUMANI polling station is where I first met Raila Amolo Odinga face to face. And in the press of the following day, the newspaper of the following day, because I was out there and TV station could not reach, so I don't know whether I was covered by TV. Although KTN extensively interviewed me there, so obviously I was interviewed by KTN, and we had only two stations, KTN and KBC. I don't know whether KBC covered me, but KTN really, there's Catherine Openda, really interviewed me, or is it interrogated me? But we met with Raila, and in the following day's newspaper, both the Daily Nation and Standard, Raila had praised me as a very good presiding officer. Let us start. Now, there's a day I was walking at home, just walking, and then a vehicle stopped. When I checked the vehicle, there was Morris Kashero, who was the returning officer Lugari election, and he was with the Reverend Joseph Tsuma, the deputy returning officer. So they stopped. I later concluded that they were looking for direction and coincidentally stopped me. So when they saw me, and you saw Kasheru was a Mijikenda, or is a Mijikenda, from Kikambala, Waswahili. So when they stopped, they were looking for somebody to give them direction. But when I recognized Morris Kashero, he changed and said he saw me, that's why he stopped the vehicle. So after greetings and whatever, he asked me, because he had been the returning officer in Kaimosi Hamisi, and my father was his deputy. So after 2 to 3 seconds, knowing that the person he had stopped is a son to the person whom he worked with, he asked me where I work, and if my place of work could allow me to assist him run the election. Of course, I had just been sacked from the intelligence, but I told him I work for the intelligence, and I know the election day I'll still be on leave. And they said, suppose people know you? I said, people will think that I'm working underground and undercover. So after that small talk, he asked me to give them directions to Nzoia Primary School. Nzoia Primary School. I told him that was 1994. I told him that the last time I was at Nzoia Primary School, which is just next to my village, was 12 years earlier. And I didn't know how to go there. So I told him, maybe I asked somebody else so as to give us direction. He said, no, don't worry. We'll just go back to Kakamega. I alighted, and they went back to Kakamega. Obviously, some other time they made arrangements to how to go to that place. Later on, later on we were hired as presiding. They were calling it election officials. Election officials, because you are taken as an election official. Then later on is after, during the training and whatever, they make their own assessment and do a lot of this and that. There is a mixture. They have to have local people. They have to have people who have already done election. They have to have people who are new. They have to have... Then they come back later and make a decision that so and so will be the presiding officers, and the rest will be deputy presiding officers. That is what happened. But I was given assurance from the word go that I would be a presiding officer. So during the training, he talked of first of all, there was stories in the newspaper that the then chairman of the ECK, or can I say the then chairman of IEBC, Justice Chesoni, had created 3 polling stations. And Kenya being Kenyans, there was questions as to why were these 3 polling stations created? Is it a plan to rig elect? You know that. You know that. I mean, anything happens, rumors start. Once the fact are established and you come back and say, bueno, say, hiyo ilikwisha. We have moved on. That is Kenya for you. So we, even during the training, we were just told 3 polling stations have been created. So here primary school has been created out of Lohoho primary school, Lohoho Girls. The Lohoho Girls Secondary School has created Nzoia Primary School. Then LUMANI had been created out of Nambirima. There's a third one I've forgotten, but there were 3 polling stations. And then we were told other information you learn as we go on. So we were taught just like any other presiding officer in any other election. I've been a presiding officer in the ECK before it became IEBC. I've never worked for them, but ECK I've been a presiding officer for. Let me look for a calculator. That was one of the elections I was the presiding officer. So we continued, and then on the last day, the eve, the eve of the election is when people are told. Me, I already knew from day one I was to be a presiding officer, but that is the day when you are told if you'll be a presiding officer or a deputy presiding officer. And again, that is the when you'll be told which is your polling station. Because if you are told day one, you can go there. It's a way of rigging. You can go there, organize whatever. So you don't know if you'll be a presiding officer or a deputy. You don't even know which polling station you are. But my experience with the anniversary towers is that, especially for those who are locals, who came from that constituency, you are supposed to indicate where you come from, so that you are posted to the other side of the constituency. So we were just that way. Then on the final day, I expected, and I still feel even right now, that the 3 polling station, especially the presiding officer and the deputy presiding officer, who should have even been called maybe for an hour or so of orientation of the 3 polling stations. Nothing like that happened. We just ended there. We were told, the drivers knew, the drivers were from the district commissioner's place. So the drivers were told, this vehicle is going to, first of all, it's going to Nambirima. Then from Nambirima, it is going to Lumani. You see, I was born in Nairobi, brought up in Nairobi. Home, sijui sana, but I used to hear of Nambirima. Lumani, that is the first time I was hearing of a place called Lumani. Although I later came to see, if you're on the main Kitale Kakamega Road, there is a signpost that says this is the direction to Lumani. I'd passed there a million times, but I never read those signs. How many do you? There are those road signs next to your place, but you have never read them, isn't it? So we went. We were told, and the presiding officer for Nambirima was an elderly man. So he's the one who sat in front with the driver and one of the security officers. Me, I sat down behind with others. Each polling station had 1 clerk and 1 security officer. So we had 2 presiding officers. We had 2 presiding officers, 2 security officers, and 2 clerks. So we went and somewhere past Kipkaren, there was a roadblock. roadblock. The roadblock was by civilians. They were stopping every vehicle. They wanted to know if anybody was having, but these were for the ruling party, KANU youth. They were stopping and they wanted to know if somebody was transporting any material to rig the elections. That was 1994, around April. They wanted to know if somebody was there to rig elections, and they were checking each and every vehicle the way police officers check at the roadblock when they suspect that things are smuggled through that route. So we alighted, the four of us, 2 presiding officers and 2 security officers. And when they saw the police officers with the rifles, they said, "Oh, ni serikali, nyi piteni, piteni." But I mean, we entered the vehicle. That was between Mwamba and Kipkaren, somewhere there. And it was at night. So we went and reached the polling station. There's something I'd bypassed. Let me just say it now, that during daytime we had gone to LUMANI and other polling stations and had been given money and was told to look for Mr. So-and-so and then give him the money and then get a receipt. I think it was 400 shillings. Get a receipt and make sure, and then prepare the polling station. So we went there. The person whom I was told came. When he came, he gave us a shop. Yes, he gave us a shop, and we borrowed tables and whatever. That was during daytime. I told the deputy presiding officer to supervise the sweeping. The shop was so dusty, so to make it, and we arranged it as a polling station. We made it in such a way. It was a good shop because it had 2 doors, so that people enter from the shop front, and at the back, which is usually used by the shop owner, that is where people, after voting, they go. That was during daytime. So we came now at night. As I said, we passed. Then we went to Nambirima. As the presiding officer was removing the election material, that is the polling box, the ballot box, ballot papers, these forms you hear, from this, from that, these are which are filled over through other times. As he was doing that, I called somebody there, called a certain gentleman, asked him, "Do you come from around?" He said, "Yes, I come from around." I told him, I took out a paper and a pen. I said, "Now, here is Nambirima. Give me the direct." We made a map of from Bande. That Bande is now on the Kitale Kakamega road. From Bande, you go this way. The way you can draw a map to any stranger who has never visited that place, and he drew. And the picture he gave me is that from Nambirima, you go back to Lumani to the main road at Mbande. The Kitale, or can I say the Lodwa Kisumu road, yeah, or Kitale Kakamega road, the same. So from that, we drew that map. We saw that from Nambirima, you go back to the road that comes off the main road, then you turn left, you turn right, then you travel for some distance to Lumani. Then I asked him, "Is there a way?" Because it was from Nambirima, you go and get a T junction. I said, "Now, if you are to walk on foot and you are going to Lumani, do you follow the road?" He said, "No, there is a shortcut." And this shortcut, on a rainy day when there is a lot of mud, when you're traveling with a vehicle, you'll find that by the time you've reached Lumani, I'll reach there almost the same time with you on a rainy, muddy day. So I drew there a triangle. Point 1 is Lumani, and point 2 is Nambirima. and then the junction. So I knew that you know how a triangle is, but a right angle triangle. That is what I drew. And then I made inquiries. Another shocking thing I learned is that the two leading candidates, the three leading candidates were from Nambirima. You know Nambirima Lumani area. You know the MP who had defected from Kanu from Ford Asili to Kanu, Apid Wawire, came from near Lumani. Brudi Nabwera, whom everybody knows, originally came from Nambirima before he settled in Kitale. John Feather Washiko, the third candidate, also came from Nambirima before settling in Kitale, where he was the town clerk. Now, all the three candidates come from that place, and that place they have created a new polling station. So from there, I went to Nambirima, opened the polling station, we started polling. Then we arrived there at 3 a.m. So we lit the pressure lamp, and I told the people to be ready. So we prepared everything except those documents that you cannot open unless it is at 6. So 10 minutes to 6, as every election where I was a presiding officer, I told people to pray, but I usually told them that everybody will now become a Catholic, because this is a time when you don't close your eyes. They prayed with their eyes open. After prayers, we started. Then there is a shop next to that shop. They opened up. That shop belonged to the chairman of Kanu in that ward. And inside there are posters. So when people are like, and you know, pilots will tell you that a plane is dangerous at the takeoff and landing. In elections, presiding officers work hard when they are starting polling and when they are closing. So we opened and things were happening so well. I was all over checking things were smoothly doing. And then there was Joe Nyaga. He later became the MP for Kamkunji. There was John Katumanga from Nakuru. They came and called me, Kuja. I came, said, look at this. My viewer, I could have collapsed. 5 steps, 5, yes. Moja, like the way the Askaris march, 1, 2, 3, 4, left, right. Now, 5 steps, there were posters, vote for Apili. There was Moi for president. Told me, look here, a voter sees these two. Then after 5 steps, he or she enters a polling station and votes. Is this not against the election law? I was confused, I was whatever. But you see, politicians, Kenyans, if you are confused, that is when the vehicle will now roll. I then ordered all the Apid Wawire posters to be brought down. And you see, I'm ordering, KTN is recording, cameramen things have gone so bad that you even don't know whether you land in jail on that day. So people are removing, and I was ordering that KTN had its cameras on. I said, remove that, whatever. Then they removed that. Then I was also told, now look here. Look at this one, the one you have not said be removed. It was Moi before, so many microphones, and it was said Moi for president. That was 1994, and somebody had placed there the campaign for Moi in 1992. So he still retained, and what I said. Hapo ndio kuna kizungumkuti. Now what do you do? And cameras are rolling. You can see especially these other cameras, the flashing, whatever, and you are having seconds to make a decision. I knew that if I were to say again that Moi's posters would be brought down, that one would have led for people to say that I had brought down the president's portrait. Those newspapers who would say that are the same ones, if I've left it, they would say the presiding officer left Kanu. So I said, funga your hotel. Then they locked the hotel. Then the same journalist, you see, they're always, just like an intelligence officer. You see an intelligence officer, you're walking around, all the time you're looking for an IR. In the morning, you don't know whether you'll get an IR. You may end up getting 0, you may get 100. So you are going there looking for an intelligence report, an IR. And a journalist is looking for a story. So the journalist now came. It has been shown to me that the campaign materials were there for one of the candidates. I've removed it. They have shown me another campaign material for the president. Now, if I leave it be there, they would say I've left a poster for Kanu. But if I remove it, they'll say you have removed the president's portrait. And you know, for you millennials, I'm very happy with you millennials, because you really like me, but you never lived those lives. If you get an old man to tell you, removing the president's portrait, you'd even be lucky if you went to jail for 10 years. Otherwise, in 10 days, you'd be buried. That is how life was then. So after closing that, everybody now called me. Everybody called me and said, don't you see this fellow, a hotel owner? Don't you think this fellow has invested? He knew people were coming here. He prepared so many mandazis. He prepared so many tea, and you have just ordered. Don't you think his business will go? Then I said, okay, there is the back door. People can enter and leave from the back door. And people clapped. And people were happy with me. You can see the way people are clapping to me. You could think I'm one of those intellectuals or very popular people like Martin Shikuku. So from there, Joe Nyaga, not Joe Nyaga, these other Nyaga, there were two Nyagas. There is this one who was implicated in the death of Bai. I'll remember as I talk. He was all the time with John Katumanga. Katumanga was a Kanu official from Nakuru, but later he joined the opposition. He was looking at me suspiciously, and whenever he would whisper something to Nyaga, if I come back, he would keep quiet. I noticed, but you see, you don't confront him. But it reached a place, and he's the one who confronted me before journalists and before everybody. Said the ban. Are you not the senior special branch officer from Nakuru? You see, these people have planted special branch officers to rig elections for Kanu. But then that was near my home village, and everybody knew, and I told them I had been sacked from the police, and I'm an uncle. I am a maternal uncle to Chesoni, so the story ended that way. For Katumanga. Naman Nyaga, I was talking about Naman Nyaga. So from there, things that started working well. Then Raila came. Raila was the director of elections in Ford, Kenya. So he came, and that is when we now noticed something. I can tell you, with Jesus, I can tell you, just walk, don't be worried. Utatembea palingine when, if you know how the road is before you start walking, you would not have even started. But Jesus will lead you all the way. And you'll be shocked what a faithful friend he is. Raila came and Raila called me. I went there faithfully. And you see, there was a problem with the ECK, and I think there is a problem with the IEBC. People from the opposition will always believe that you are an agent of the ruling party. So here comes Raila. He tells me, do you know this is a new polling station? You know, he talks to his people. First, let me tell you, if you are a presiding officer, anyway, I'll talk that another time. But briefly, explain each and every move. And when when you want to do something, you call agents, you call security, you call the clerks, you call whatever, you say, I'm going to do this. When I'm going to do this, whatever, you discuss. When we are counting ballots, what should we count? So people, you let them decide something. So when you reach somewhere, you don't follow what the returning officer told you. No, you follow what you people have agreed there. So that when a person comes and wants to know, like Raila came, the first thing he did, he went to the main agent for Ford Kenya. I can't remember him, but he's a son of the current MP. He's an elder brother to Nabi Nabwera. No, I think it is Nabi Nabwera's father who was there. Taraja Nabwera. It was Nabi Nabwera's father who was there. So Raila went and met Nabi Nabwera's father, asked him, how is everything going on? He said, oh, this young man, he's from the local and he's a very good fellow. And you see, if you let those people talk to their people and he comes, the aggressive Raila now comes a very friendly Raila. So he came, said, Bwana Presiding Officer, you are doing your work very well, but there is a problem. I said, what problem? He said, he took me to the line. We went to the line. He told everybody, can you raise up your voter's card? 3/4 of the people there, 3/4 of the people there had brand new voter's card. Said, what do you do? Why is it? This is a new polling station, and almost everybody has a brand new card. What do you do? I said, we have a black book. We also have the typed register for all registered voters at Nambirima. You see, if your name was at Nambirima, if you went to Nambirima, you'll get your name. If you went to the same register that was at Nambirima, I had it there. So you could vote twice, but you can't vote twice because of the election ink. And also, there was a stamp on your voters. So what was there was the register that was at Nambirima is the same register that was there. So I said, so long as somebody appears in the black book, the black book was at Nambirima. In places where it's one police station, the black book was there. But in this instance, because it was a new one, so I said, so long as your name is, so if your name appears in the type register, I'll allow you to vote. And he came and said, coincidental, you see, there were three there were three streams in Nambirima. So we had taken one to stream 3, we had taken to Lumani. But coincidentally, 2/3 of the people voted and the people are not voting. So he said, how comes that people have avoided the original polling station at Nambirima, and they were now nearly all of them coming here? I said, don't you think it is a coincidental because Lumani is next to Navaholo? Don't you think that most of those people who registered at Nambirima were originally from here? So we talked, and he told Catherine Openda, who was for KTN, I was just next there. I felt like what? He was telling, this is one of the best presiding officers I've ever come across. And the only concern I have is there are so many people with the new, we don't know what strategy there. You know, these politicians are funny. You can talk to him and whatever, but if he gets time to talk to the press, he says, I don't know why everybody here has a brand new but I'm confident in this officer that he'll do the proper one. Any question? There were no question at all. Then he went. I was on cloud, people say cloud 9. I was cloud 12, but so this journalist, after he left, they came back to me. Now everybody was there. I was asked, now I was being questioned. Of course, I had that confidence. Sorry, I have a sore throat. These journalists now came back to me. They were confronting me. And then they're confronting me. They now asked me. They were asking hard questions. But you see, there was a friendly banter because on one hand, Raila had approved me and he was just 5 minutes away. So I was asked, how comes that you have hired a hotel next to the chairman of KANU, and so on and so forth. Something just came to my mind. I think that is now where the intelligence training comes in. That is when the training for an intelligence officer comes in, because there and then I remembered that I had the receipt in my pocket. I told them pollings are conducted. Polling are conducted in schools. Pollings are conducted in schools, churches, and even the chief's place. And I said from here, first of all, Lumani. I don't know, by now maybe Lumani has a second school. It did not have a school. Lumani has no school. Lumani has no church. People pray in the open. And the assistant chief's office is at Nambirima. So when I came here, I found I was told now I was now trying to, yeah. Those are some of the occasions when I go to the principle that I do not cheat unless it is to save my life. So I said, do you know something? I came here, I found that this place had no school, had no church, had whatever. Now, do I go back with the ballot papers and ballot box? And you see, even the journalists who are now my friends because of Raila's praise. I said, no, I said, that is when I went around, and you know the shopkeeper was there. Went around and looked for this shop and talked to this fellow, and this fellow agreed to give us a shop. I paid him for my money, but you see, I had already been given I had already been given money to give him, but I said I paid, and you know the shopkeeper was there. Kijana ametumia pesa yake, ametumia pesa yake. I said I even don't know whether if ECK will refund my money and whatever. Everybody clapped the way politicians talk, and when the way politicians incite people, and people clap. That is how journalists clap. The following day, somebody called Wahisi, he wrote in the Standard that a brave and tireless presiding officer did this and this and this and this. It was all praise for me. Then when we were going for our payment, because you work for 10 days and you're paid 10 days work, I used to drink, by then I used to take alcohol. Every presiding officer wanted to buy me alcohol. Bwana. And Kasheru was there praising himself. I knew. He even went and met my father. I knew your son is one of the brightest Kenyans around. That's why I placed him there. You see how he played that? But I'm proud of what I did. I'm proud of what I did. Exception, when we attended commanders course, we are told, these are just the way you are led, but when you are in the field facing enemies, it is up to you to direct your soldiers on what to do. Yeah? But don't forget, Jesus is there. You may be the cleverest commander, you may be the best person, but without Jesus there, I can tell you. That is why you'll find that a lot of my videos, I have undertaken to translate the Bible into Lingala. Thank you. It's a long one, but I'm sure it is a very exciting. Share with others. they should know.